Welcome to the Shanghai Auto Show 2023. In this video, I'm going to talk you around the show, give you an A to Z guide of all the latest, newest cars unveiled here today. I'm not going to be showing you around the Rolls-Royce Spectre because it's not been unveiled here today. However, a Lexus people carrier that apparently is as luxurious as a Rolls-Royce has been revealed, so I'll be showing you that in this video, as well as the new Polestar 4 and a bunch of other vehicles from the amazing to the weird. Let's do this. Buy, sell, car. Wow. Wealthy people in China don't mess around with camper vans. Instead, they go for something like this. It's called an armadillo. And what they've done is taken a Mercedes Actros 4x4 truck with proper hardcore off-roading capability and converted it into a motorhome with very, very high technical specification. I'll just put in the passcode to gain access. That was the wrong code. And that is the right code. Now the steps lower. Now the quality of these steps gives you an idea of the quality of what you're about to see inside this truck. It is absolutely incredible. The idea with this is that you can take it into the wilderness and live in it. So come and have a look inside. First of all, let me show you the kitchen area here. We have a hot plate, we have a sink, the drawers feel expensive. Then we have the dining area here with some seats. You've got your television, but the table can actually lower down into the ground. And then you can lower a bed here and take it up in this area, a full-size double bed. Well, sort of full size. Now moving to the back here, you have two more beds. As you see, they're arranged in a bunk bed design. We also have a cooker here, your fridge, plus your freezer, all your provisions. But where is the toilet? That's going to be important. Although I suppose if you're in the wilderness, you can just do what a bear does and in the woods. If you don't want to do that though, you have a fully equipped bathroom. So there is the toilet. Here we have the sink. There's a washer dryer and the all-important full-size stand-up shower. This thing doesn't come cheap though. If you want one of these crazy trucks by Armadillo, it will cost you around £500,000. This is the quickest version of the BMW 7 Series, though it doesn't have a 4.4 litre twin turbo V8. No, it's got two electric motors because it's the i7 M70. Puts out 660 horsepower and 1,050 Newton meters of torque. It'll go from 0 to 60 miles an hour in just 3.7 seconds. It'll do a range of just under 350 miles. It's not the most expensive BMW though here. Oh no, that accolade goes to this car, the new BMW XM Label Red. So it's a higher performance version of the XM. It's got a 4.4 litre twin turbo V8 mated to an electric motor. Combined, the system puts out 748 horsepower and 1,000 Newton meters of torque. The result is 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds. So it's quick, but not bonkers quick. What is bonkers about this vehicle though is A, the price, £170,000, the most expensive BMW you can buy, and 2, the design. You know why it's got its name, right? Red accents. So when it's combined with this black paint, sort of reminds me of the A-Team van. You're not going to be able to unsee that now, are you? This is the BYD Seagull. Sounds like a silly name, but the good news is it's also got a silly price. You know how electric cars are like really expensive? This isn't. It's going to start from around £10,000 in China. How can they do it so cheap? Easy. Rather than using a lithium-ion battery, they use a sodium-ion battery, which is less expensive. The downside is it doesn't charge quite so quickly, but the range is still good. The range-topping 40 kilowatt version will be able to do around 250 miles on a charge. Also has 100 horsepower. Does it feel cheap inside? Well, sort of, yes. Very scratchy plastics there. Though this is squidgy and nice. The design is quirky though, quite like that. But you know, £10,000 for an electric car. We need this to come to the UK. Bring it over, BYD, we'd love it. For completeness, I should show you two of the vehicles that BYD is showing here on its stand in Shanghai. There's that over there, it's a plug-in hybrid, and that over there is a concept car of a small SUV. They're less interesting than the Seagull, and not just because I like the name Seagull. Anyway, let's move on to the next stand. You need to know about this new car behind me. It's made by a Chinese company called Hiphi, and they're bringing their cars to Europe, including the United Kingdom. So we will be getting this thing. It's called the Y. after, yeah, the Tesla Model Y. No, it can't be that. Anyway, it is a competitor to the Tesla Model Y. It has a 76 kilowatt hour battery, 2 electric motors, and 500 horsepower. It'll be a bit more expensive than the Tesla Model Y. Supposedly it's more luxurious. If you find this interesting with its crazy doors, wait till you see another car Hiphi bringing to the UK. It's bonkers. Look at this. You'd think it was a concept car with the crazy lights, which you can actually personalize and change the animation. It's not though. It's a production vehicle. It's called the Hiphi Z. You should see the inside and the infotainment screen. It's on hydraulic rams, which will move it about. Completely unnecessary, but quite interesting. So let's get to the sensible stuff. It has a 120 kilowatt hour battery pack, which is quite large. The range it gives you is 440 miles. It's also got a lot of performance. 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds, which is to be expected when you find out that it's actually got 660 horsepower. It's a 4-seater saloon though. Have a look inside, it's quite luxurious. Finally, we come to the Hiphi Model X. Actually, it's not called that. They've only stole half the name. It's the Hiphi X. Likewise, they've only stole half of the Model X's gull-wing doors. Only half of them open and flap. Anyway, it's a large size electric SUV like a Model X. It has 590 horsepower and can do 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds. The range from this car, even though you can get it as a 6-seater, is over 400 miles. And yes, it's coming to Europe and the UK. If you think that the likes of Audi, BMW and Lexus have cars with grills that are too big, they got nothing on this car. It's the Jack RFM, and the grill is so big it's actually larger than the entire front of the car. What's that all about? Let's say you're a millionaire and you need a luxury SUV that really stands out from the crowd, and of course you need it to be electric. Well, how about this? It's called a Coleman ZR, ZR standing for zirconium. So it's only a concept for now, and it's actually been designed by the same chap who used to be design director at Italian design house Bertone. Kind of looks a bit mad, like someone's taken a picture of a normal SUV, put it in Photoshop, and then hit the crystallize button. Yeah, if you're a photo editor, you'll know exactly what I mean. I've just dropped by to the Lamborghini stand because I wanted to check out the new Revuelto, I hope I'm saying that correctly, in person. I've already done a video on it, so if you want all that information, click on the pop-out banner up there. I wanted to see what it looked like in the metal, sorry, carbon fibre. I think I prefer the front on the Aventador. Let's move down the side. Very similar in profile to the Aventador. Obviously, classic scissor doors like you have on a V12 Lamborghini. The inside, it's a step up in terms of quality over the Aventador, though I'm not entirely sure about the digital driver's display. It looks a little bit just stuck on. I like the rear of this car though. It's all nicely integrated with these exhaust pipes, extremely mean looking. And this I can't quite get my head round. There is no cover to the engine. Rain's just going to get all over your V12. Surely it's going to have a cover. This is the new Lexus LM, and it might look like a minivan because it is a minivan, but it is the most luxurious minivan in the entire world. You've got to check out the interior. I'll just open the door for you so you can have a look inside. Now, I'm not actually allowed in here. It's a motor show, they don't want to get it dirty. And I can see why not. Check out the carpet. It's just so plush and deep. That carpet puts the carpet in a Rolls-Royce to shame. Then there's the seats. Look at that. That's full first-class style. Obviously, they're electrically reclined. You've got heating, you've got cooling, places for your mobile phone there. You can control all the functions in the cabin using a tablet. But I think the biggest talking point is the 48-inch cinema screen. You've got full 3D surround sound as well. This screen is considerably bigger than the one in the BMW 7 Series. That is only 31 inches. Everything you touch just feels so luxurious. I shouldn't really be touching it. Look, the cup holders, just the way the cover is damped. There's a big fridge as well. I'm not supposed to show you this, but there we go, fridge in there. I think this is the ultimate way to travel back from the airport. Absolutely luxurious. Full disclosure, I just got thrown off the stand for touching the car. It's a bit embarrassing. So I'll have to continue giving you information from here. This MPV is actually based on the same platform as the Lexus RX, and there's two versions. This is the 500h, the top of the range. You can also get different interior configurations. This is the super luxurious two-seater in the rear, but you can have one that has 4 seats in the rear if you need to carry more passengers. But it's got all the luxury technology you need. There's special insulation in the wheel wells to reduce noise coming from the road and entering the cabin. Then you have sound cancelling software piped to the speakers in the cabin to reduce noise on the inside. Should be very pleasant to travel in. Going to be expensive though, this thing. It's going to start from around £80,000, and for this top of the range version you're looking at around £150,000. We all know about autonomous vehicles, but how about autonomous charging? Well, Lotus has this solution here. The idea is that you drive your car up to a parking lot, then this robot will come along and charge your vehicle for you. You just get out and go to the shops, forget about it. This can actually charge at almost 500 kilowatts. So within 10 minutes, the car is 80% full. So by the time you return with your shopping, you've got a full battery and you're good to go. And once it's done charging, it will take the charger out and you can just drive off. Brilliant. I've just noticed something funny about this Electra that was being charged, and that's the badge. It doesn't say Lotus, it says Lotus Neo, which is new. Why is that? The reason is that the old importer for Lotus vehicles in China still owns the brand name Lotus in China, so they're in negotiations to buy that from him. But until then, they're having to badge the cars as Lotus Neo. Will these cars be worth more in future? Because for a very short period of time, the Electra will have that badge, and then eventually, once they've done the deal, it will have just Lotus on the front of it.
Mercedes revealed the Maybach EQS SUV 680. It is based on the EQS SUV, but with more bling, more chrome, and a higher price. It's powered by dual electric motors, which produce a combined 660 horsepower and 950 Newton meters of torque. 0 to 60 takes 4.4 seconds, and there's up to 373 miles of range. It comes with adaptive air suspension, all-wheel steering, and a high price tag of £200,000.
I just thought I'd take a break on the Nissan stand. There's this interesting looking car behind me. It's called the Maxed Out Concept. It's a two-seater roadster with crazy wheel design and a very quirky interior. That's not new though, it was revealed about 2 years ago. I think this is new. Some chunky looking SUV concept car. I can't get any information on it at all. Tried to speak to the Chinese people in charge of it, but there's a bit of a language barrier going on. Looks kind of cool, whatever it is. This is a new Polestar 4. It's a sporty SUV coupe, the same class as a BMW X4, maybe a bit lower though, and obviously all electric. Like the design of the front here. Cool split lights, smooth front. Moving down the side, you can see the shape of it with the sloping rear end, poppy outy door handles, which I can't make pop back in. Huge alloy wheels, 22 inches. And the weirdest thing ever, you've got to see this. Polestar have ditched the rear window. What is that all about? It does make the back end look very unusual. I'm not sure if I like that. Let's see if it's better on the inside. Oh yeah, I like a bit of this. Very nice here on the inside, the Polestar 4. To see what's behind you, you have a live camera feed which is displayed here. I actually prefer a mirror because you get depth perception. You don't with the camera feed, but it does the job. It's just weird looking over your shoulder and just seeing that it's not got a back window. Anyway, interior feels very nicely made. This is actually 3D printed, so it's not full production, but it looks the part, and it seems to have lots of storage space down here and here. We've got a digital driver's display, very, very clear. Then a huge main infotainment screen, once again, really sharp, really clear. I like the design of the dash, this like stepped feature that we have here, and the different use of materials. Obviously, I don't think there's any real leather in here. What you feel here and here is probably artificial leather, Polestar being a very eco-conscious brand. But yeah, I do like the inside of this car. Let's check out the back seats. So here's the reason for the car not having a back window. It's allowed Polestar to move the rear bulkhead backwards. As a result, the roof extends further backwards, and so there's more headroom here in the back than there would otherwise have been with that sloping roof line. Also, it gives you a sense of being cocooned, because if I open the door, you'll see this part here extends in front of my shoulder. It's sort of like what you expect in a luxury car. And it does feel very luxurious here in the back. Plenty of knee room, place to stretch out as well, lots of footwell room. The under thigh support is okay because the seat base is really deep, though you do still find that your knees are a bit higher than they are in some other cars because you've got the batteries underneath the floor. But other than that, it's a lovely car to sit in, and I like the way they've got these goldy seat belts that just help lift the cabin. I like it. The Polestar 4 will sit between this, the Polestar 3 and the Polestar 2 in the range. But you might be thinking, wait a minute, surely the 4 should be called the 3 and this, the 3, should be called the 4 because it's larger. It's like BMW X5 size. But Polestar doesn't name its cars like other car manufacturers do. It names them in the order that they come out. So first there was the supercar, expensive Polestar 1 hybrid craziness. Then there was the Polestar 2, which is a Tesla Model 3 rival. Then there's this, the Polestar 3. Like I say, it's an electrified BMW X5 size vehicle. And now there's the Polestar 4, which is an X4 size coupe-like SUV. Then there'll be the Polestar 5, the Polestar 6, the Polestar 7, and you basically get the idea. Now let's check out the boot. You probably think it's going to open here, a little hatch to put things into the storage area, but no. The whole tailgate lifts up and you have 500 litres of space, which is a decent amount. But that does beg the question, what the heck is this panel for? Is it a spoiler that pops up when you're going over a certain speed? Well, no, it doesn't move. It doesn't do anything. They put this cutaway in there to just make sure the back end doesn't seem so slabby because it hasn't got a window. There'll be two versions of the Polestar 4 available. There's the single motor version, which is rear wheel drive. It has about 270 horsepower and can do 0 to 60 in just over 7 seconds. Then there's this version, which is the dual motor model, and it has 540 horsepower and can do 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds. Both cars have a 102 kilowatt hour battery with a maximum range of 370 miles. Prices start from around £55,000. This is the back of a man from Porsche, but if we move this way slightly, you'll see the new Cayenne, although it's not actually completely new, it's more of a facelift. They've redesigned the front bumper and made the lights a little bit more aggressive. The facelift sort of reminds me of the facelift they made to the original Cayenne to make it less ugly. There's also some changes around the back, if you follow me. You'll see it's a little bit more pert here at the rear. Love a full-length light bar. They've updated the engines too, made them more powerful, and the Cayenne S now gets a twin-turbo 4-litre V8 instead of a 2.9-litre V6. Let's go and have a look at the inside, and we'll have to use this car because that one is super busy. They've redesigned the dash. The most noticeable change is this. You've got a curved screen for the instrument dials, like in the Taycan. You can also get another screen over here for the passenger. I think Porsche might have copied Ferrari with that idea. There is some bad news though. This is the Turbo GT, my favourite version of the Cayenne, but unfortunately we won't be getting it in Europe because of emissions regulations. Damn it.
Smart revealed their new number 3 coupe-like SUV, which has a similar design to their already released number 1. It is powered by a 62 kilowatt-hour battery pack mated to an electric motor, and there's also an option of a dual motor version. There will in future be a Brabus model also added to the lineup, which could have 430 horsepower. The Smart number 3 goes on sale in 2024.
I have found the coolest brand here in China. It's called Tank. They call the brand Tank. How awesome is that? And this car is a bit of a tank because it's a proper off-roader. It's China's version of the Toyota Land Cruiser. Proper ladder frame chassis. You can get it with a pure petrol engine. No electrification nonsense. It's supposed to be tough and rugged. I just wish the model name was as cool as the brand name. So it's called the Tank. Yes, good. But then 500 High 4-T. Just call it Tank.
Volkswagen revealed the new ID.7, its first ever all-electric saloon in Shanghai. It's built on a new version of the MEB platform with a single electric motor powering the rear wheels with 286 horsepower. The ID.7 Pro gets a 77 kilowatt-hour battery pack with a claimed range of 382 miles. The ID Pro S gets a larger 86 kilowatt-hour battery pack with a claimed range of 435 miles. The ID.7 can charge up to 200 kilowatts on a fast charger, and its bodywork is designed to be as aerodynamic as possible, with a drag coefficient of 0.23 CD, which is the same as a Tesla Model 3. On the inside, it's the first Volkswagen to have a new cockpit with an augmented reality heads-up display as standard. Plus, it gets VW's new, larger 15-inch infotainment touchscreen. There's also a smart glass roof which changes tint electronically to help shield you from the sun. The ID.7 goes on sale later this year.
China is really leading the charge when it comes to electric cars, with new brands popping up all over the place. This is another new brand. I'm reading it as Yang Wang, and any car brand with the name Wang in the title gets my vote. I think it's actually pronounced Yang Wang. Anyhow, they're actually owned by the biggest car maker in China, BYD, and they've got two new luxury cars. At one end of the scale is this. It's a big SUV, which looks a little bit like a Land Rover Defender, but it's got loads of power. You've got a motor on each wheel, a combined output of 1,000 horsepower. It can do 0 to 60 in around 3 seconds. It can spin on its axis like a tank. It's also fully waterproof, which means that it can float on water, despite being very, very heavy, especially as it is a proper off-roader with a real hardcore ladder frame chassis. Now, at the other end of the market, you have a supercar. This is designed by the same guy who used to work for Audi and Alfa Romeo. It's got a very swooping design, and once again, you have 4 electric motors, combined output of over 1,000 horsepower. But being lighter than the SUV, it's also quicker, of course. 0 to 60 in under 2 seconds. An interesting feature about that supercar is that it actually has hydraulic suspension, which allows it to jump up and down on the spot. Why you need that feature? I don't know. Anyway, both these vehicles cost around £125,000, but which would you go for? I'm probably going for that. This is the new Xpeng G6, and it's essentially a Tesla Model Y rival. That sums it up. That's enough. I'm going. The last car I'm going to show you is the Zeekr X. So it's sort of Volkswagen ID.3 in size, but it's got some very interesting features. So if you come here, and if I push past these people, they don't mind. There are no door handles. Instead, you open the door by pressing this button, and it opens automatically, like on a Rolls-Royce. Then when you want to shut it, it'll do it automatically once it's sat on the seat. Some other interesting features are you have a big infotainment screen in the center, but it can actually move across the dash, depending on whether the passenger wants to look at it or the driver. Then here, if you look at the back seats, this has 2 individual chairs. You can get it as a 3-seat bench if you prefer. I'm going to shut the door because that music's pretty terrible. It's not working. Oh well. One of the interesting things about this car isn't just the fact you've got the funny doors, the funny infotainment screen, but the fact it has decent performance. So there's a single motor version, and that puts out 270 horsepower, but there's also a 430 horsepower version, which will do 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds. That's obviously got dual motors and all-wheel drive. In terms of the range, well, on a full charge, this car might be able to do up to 350 miles. Well, that's it. I think that's a wrap. I'm absolutely knackered. So I've come back to the Rolls-Royce stand to take a rest here on the special seats you can get for the Rolls-Royce Cullinan. They're very lovely.